I never realized how alive a scent could be until the morning I walked into my little garden, carrying nothing but a pair of scissors and a glass bowl. The air was still cool, wrapped with the gentle breath of lavender and the sweetness of roses opening their first petals to the light. It was one of those moments where nature feels awake before the world does, and I wanted to capture that feeling, to turn it into something real, something I could carry with me in a tiny bottle. That's how this journey began, from bloom to bottle, the natural way. I remember touching the lavender flowers, feeling the texture of their small buds between my fingers. They looked so fragile, yet their scent was powerful enough to calm every thought in my head. I clipped a few stems, then moved to the roses, the pink damask ones, the kind that smell like morning dew. The petals were soft, damp with freshness, and I carefully placed them in the bowl. In that simple act, I understood something. Perfume is not just about smell. It's about time, emotion, and the living essence of the plants that create it. When I got back inside, I spread the flowers on a clean cloth to dry slightly. I could already imagine what I wanted to create, a roll-on perfume with only 2% essential oils, gentle enough for everyday use, but strong enough to leave a memory. My first goal wasn't luxury. It was purity. I wanted a perfume that felt like skin after rain, not like chemicals in a bottle. Natural perfumery is an art of patience. You can't rush it. The first step was extraction, getting the essence out of those petals and leaves. There are many ways to do it, but I chose the simplest: infusion. I poured jojoba oil into a small glass jar, warm enough to feel cozy to the touch, not hot. Then I added the lavender and rose petals, stirring slowly with a bamboo stick. The scent was faint at first, but I knew it would grow. I sealed the jar and placed it by the window, where soft light would help the oil absorb the natural aroma over the next few days. Every morning, I shook the jar gently. The oil began to change color, from clear gold to a soft blush, like the dawn captured in liquid form. On the 5th day, I opened it, and the fragrance that escaped was breathtaking. It wasn't the artificial rose you find in stores. It was the smell of real flowers, still holding the warmth of the sun. I filtered the oil carefully using a muslin cloth, pressing the petals until the last drop of scented oil slid through. That became the heart of my perfume. But a perfume needs balance, a melody of notes that unfold with time. The top note is what greets you first, the middle note carries the heart, and the base note lingers like a whisper that refuses to fade. I wanted something bright to start, so I chose sweet orange essential oil for the top. Its freshness reminded me of mornings full of sunlight. For the heart, I used the rose lavender infusion, soft and floral. And for the base, I picked sandalwood, grounding, warm, and calming. To make a safe perfume, everything must be measured precisely. Essential oils are powerful, they're nature's chemistry in concentrated form. A 2% roll-on blend means only 2 drops of essential oil per 5 milliliters of carrier oil, or roughly 12 drops per ounce. It doesn't sound like much, but that small amount is enough to scent the skin beautifully without irritation. I mixed my oils slowly, drop by drop, in a small beaker. The scent changed with every addition, first bright, then floral, then deep and earthy. I tested it on a strip of paper, watching how the fragrance evolved over minutes. It was alive, breathing differently with time and air. Before bottling it, I performed the most important ritual in natural perfumery, the patch test. A single drop on the inside of my wrist, left for 24 hours. No redness, no itchiness, no reaction, only the soft trail of a fragrance that felt like it belonged to me. Safety isn't optional in natural perfume. Essential oils can cause burns, allergies, or light sensitivity if used wrongly. Especially oils like cinnamon, clove, and citrus, beautiful, but strong. That's why the 2% rule is sacred. It keeps your creation gentle and kind to the skin. The next day, I poured the perfume into a small 10 ml glass roll-on bottle, amber-colored, to protect it from light. Watching the golden liquid fill the glass felt like bottling sunlight. I screwed on the cap, rolled it between my palms to warm it, and applied a small circle behind my ear. For the first time, I was wearing a fragrance that came entirely from my hands, my garden, and my patience. The scent started with a burst of orange, sweet, cheerful, like peeling fruit under a warm sky. Then it softened into lavender and rose, intertwining like two gentle melodies. Finally, as it settled on my skin, the sandalwood emerged, slow and grounding, like a soft hum in the background. It lasted for hours, fading gracefully, never harsh, never synthetic. That night, I kept smelling my wrist absent-mindedly. The scent felt like a memory, of summer, of calm, of something familiar but reborn. I understood then why people fall in love with natural perfumes. They don't just decorate your skin, they connect you to the earth. Over the next few days, I started experimenting. I made a second version using jasmine instead of rose, blending it with vanilla for a deeper, more sensual scent. I learned that vanilla isn't an essential oil at all, it's an extract, thicker and darker, but still beautiful in perfume when used in trace amounts. I also tried adding just a hint of vetiver for a green, smoky touch. Each variation changed the personality of the scent completely, and I kept a small notebook to record every recipe. Natural perfumery is like storytelling. Every ingredient has a character. Lavender is calm, rose is emotional, orange is optimistic, sandalwood is wise. Together, they form a narrative on your skin, a story that begins when you apply it and unfolds as the hours pass. Unlike synthetic perfumes that hit strong and fade suddenly, natural perfumes move with your body's warmth. They whisper instead of shouting. I began to understand the harmony between nature and chemistry. Even though natural ingredients feel simple, they are complex on a molecular level, hundreds of compounds working together to create balance. That's why synthetic copies can never truly replicate them. You can mimic the smell, but not the soul. One evening, I lit a candle and opened a fresh batch of my roll-on blend. I closed my eyes and imagined the fields where each scent was born. The lavender came from Provence, the sandalwood from India, the oranges from Sicily. Each drop represented months of growth, sunlight, and human care. It made me more aware of how sacred and rare real natural perfume is. It's not mass-produced. It's cultivated, harvested, and honored. Of course, not everything was perfect at first. My early blends sometimes smelled unbalanced, too strong, too weak, or uneven. Once, I used too much clove oil, and the perfume burned my wrist. That mistake taught me humility. Nature demands respect, not shortcuts. I learned to dilute carefully, to always research safety data from reliable sources like IFRA guidelines, and to understand the flashpoints and phototoxicity of each oil. I also learned that patience changes everything. Natural perfumes mature. What you smell today is not what you'll smell next week. The oils need to marry, to blend at the molecular level. After mixing, I let each batch rest in a dark drawer for at least 2 weeks before testing again. When I reopened the bottle after that waiting period, the scent had transformed, softer, rounder, more complete. That's when I realized, perfume making is not chemistry alone. It's a relationship. A few friends tried my 2% roll-on perfumes and were amazed that such a small amount of oil could last the whole day. One said it made her feel calm during stressful meetings. Another said it reminded her of her grandmother's garden. That's when I decided to share what I had learned. I told them that natural perfumes are not about masking who you are. They're about expressing it, lightly, safely, and truthfully. For anyone who wants to create their own, the process is simpler than it looks. Choose your carrier oil, jojoba, almond, or fractionated coconut. Choose your essential oils, 1 top note, 1 heart, 1 base. Mix no more than 5 oils total. Calculate your dilution. For a 10 ml roll-on bottle, 6 drops of essential oil is enough for a 2% blend. Fill the rest with your carrier oil. Shake gently, label your bottle, and test it over time. Always perform a patch test first. Keep your perfume in a cool, dark place, and avoid applying it before going into direct sunlight if it contains citrus oils. I once made a batch called Morning Dew. It had grapefruit, lavender, and cedarwood. When I wore it, I felt like walking barefoot on wet grass. Another one, Golden Hour, mixed orange blossom and vanilla, and it smelled like warmth and comfort. I began realizing that natural perfumery is not just about how something smells, but how it makes you feel. Over time, I noticed something strange but wonderful. My sense of smell sharpened. I could distinguish different types of rose oils, recognize the earthy tone of patchouli versus the sweetness of geranium. My nose became my most delicate instrument. I started appreciating natural scents everywhere, in rain, in wood, in freshly cut herbs. It changed how I experienced the world. There was also a deeper connection forming, a kind of mindfulness. Creating perfume taught me to slow down, to notice small details, to breathe deeply. The process itself became a meditation. When I blended oils, I wasn't just mixing ingredients. I was balancing energies, uplifting and grounding, warm and cool, masculine and feminine. Every drop mattered. Every scent carried emotion. Months later, when I looked at my small collection of roll-on bottles, each labeled by hand, I realized I had built more than perfumes. I had built memories, bottled pieces of life. Some captured joy, some calm, some nostalgia. They reminded me that nature always gives back when treated gently. And yet, what surprised me most was how little I needed. A 2% blend was enough to feel luxurious, safe, and long-lasting. It didn't overpower a room, it simply followed me, like a soft echo of the morning garden. People would lean closer and ask, "What perfume is that?" And I would smile and say, "It's homemade. From bloom to bottle." One evening, I sat by my window again, the same place where my first jar of infused oil once stood. The sun was setting, painting everything in gold. I rolled a little perfume on my wrist, closed my eyes, and breathed in. I could still feel the lavender fields, the roses, the orange trees, the sandalwood forests, all united in a single scent. And in that quiet moment, I felt gratitude. Because nature had shared its voice with me, and I had learned to listen. This is what natural perfumery truly is, not just the art of scent, but the art of awareness. Every step, from bloom to bottle, teaches patience, respect, and care. The scent may fade from your skin, but it lingers somewhere deeper, as a reminder that beauty, when crafted with intention and safety, never really disappears. So, if you ever decide to create your own perfume, remember this. Start small, stay safe, and let nature lead. Don't rush the process. Don't chase perfection. Every drop, every bloom, Every experiment will bring you closer to something extraordinary. And when you finally roll it on your skin, you'll understand that this is more than perfume. It's a conversation between you and the earth, gentle, fragrant, and alive. Because when nature whispers, the heart remembers. And sometimes, all it takes is one tiny bottle to hold an entire garden.